Hello, Survivor Squared fans. I have some bad news to share at the top of the podcast. As you can see, this is editing Tony right now. This is not recording Tony. I don't have the buff on. That's because Bailey Buffs and I recorded an entire episode, which you're about to see, and we talk so much about everything that happened on Survivor Episode 4, Zac Brown, Christian voting out Mike White, everything you would ever want about a breakdown. It's a fantastic conversation, if I do say so myself, and the bad news I have to share is this microphone, which you're hearing right now on Spotify, you're watching on YouTube, you can see it in my feed, was not connected to my computer. And so, the podcast you're about to hear, we thought about re-recording it, but really, we had so much fun talking about it, it's tough to recreate that energy. We don't want to have it feel stale. So my audio, I did the best I could. It's going to sound a little bit tinny. It's going to sound like I'm talking from a cave. Bailey sounds fantastic. Bailey's never sounded better or looked prettier, but my audio is going to be a little rough. I understand if you don't want to watch it because of that. I understand if you don't want to listen to it because of that. I get it. But again, I am sorry. Next week we will be better as we grow and try to make this show the best it possibly can be. So, now presenting a very interesting episode of Survivor Squared.
Hi, my name is Saul.
Hi, my name is Wendell Holland.
My name is Brandon Donaldson.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Survivor Squared, where we are breaking down the fourth episode of Survivor Season 50. My name's Tony Squares, alongside my ride or die, my number one alliance member, Miss Bailey Buffs. And we know if you're a returning fan of Survivor Squared, you came to hear our takes on the world of Survivor and the biggest season of Survivor Season 50. But we are happy to announce that our podcast is in the hands of the fans. And halfway through, we will be handing over to a musical artist that some of you love, some of you may have never heard of. And he's going to give his opinions for the entire middle portion of this podcast and take away your time from what you want to watch on a season of Survivor, the podcast Survivor Squared. Bailey, it was a weird episode of Survivor Season 50, and we like to be positive on this show because we both really enjoy Survivor, and as we break down this episode, there are things to be really happy about. But this episode in particular was by far the slowest and, if I say, dare I say, worst episode of the season because the middle section was entirely not about Survivor. How did you feel about the Zac Brown experience? Just a piece of it as we dive deeper as the podcast goes.
It's like what we touched on last week. This already is feeling like such a rush season. It's already so short. We're already going to see double eliminations, potentially triple eliminations. We're going to have so many other episodes feel so rushed and so hurried that taking a solid 15 minutes to just watch Zac Brown go fishing was like, yes, cinematically beautiful. Okay, obviously, like arguably those shots of him in the water were very cool and artistic. Great, awesome. The fish he got were cool. He knows how to descale and debone a fish. Good for you, my guy. But like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. And also, if we're going to be celebrating 50 years of Survivor, 50 seasons of Survivor, 26 years of Survivor, instead of having all these like celebrity cameos, why not bring in like past players that didn't make the cut for 50? Like bring back Rupert to go fishing with people. Bring back Tony to teach them how to set up camp. Like bring back Sandra to talk about strategy. I don't know. I get it for the people that really cared about Zac Brown, and I like his music's just not my music, so maybe that's where the disconnect comes, but like it was just a waste of time.
Even put one of your biggest, musical loves in there. Put whoever that may be. Like if Freddie Mercury rises from the grave and shows up on Fiji, I'm going to pop for a second and be like, oh my God, Freddie Mercury. I love Freddie Mercury. At the same time, I don't want to watch 15 minutes of Freddie Mercury nature documentary when I'm watching Survivor Season 50. Maybe if it was Survivor Season 49, 48, 47, like that would be really cool and acceptable. But again, we have a 24-person season. We just got down to 19. We're not even at the number when they start these seasons normally, and we're wasting 15 minutes on Zac Brown in the middle. And this is nothing against Zac Brown. That exact thing, what you were talking about, have Rupert come back and do the spearfishing. Why wasn't Zac's spearfishing moment Ozzy's fishing moment? Because at Tribal, I don't want to bounce around too much, at Tribal, his whole tribe thanks Ozzy. Ozzy, you caught 7 fish today. And Ozzy goes, actually, it was 8 after such a grueling challenge. I would have sat there and watched 5 to 7 minutes on Ozzy fishing and talking about providing for the tribe, because we've seen the different side of Ozzy, the more strategic side, and this was very old school Ozzy, and the tribe thanking him for providing those fishes. Like I would have taken 7 minutes of that. Have Ozzy teach us how to spearfish in these islands of Fiji that are supposedly barren because Survivor keeps filming there. Like, yes, that's the Survivor season 50 I wanted to see. No offense to Zac Brown. And no offense to the Zac Brown reward either, because the reward was really cool. Let's have a fish steak grill night, and let's have Zac Brown sing to us as we all sing along. I get that. That would have been a great reward. Wrap that up in 5 minutes. But Bailey, Zac Brown had 4 confessionals during episode 4. Zac Brown now has as many confessionals as Dee. He has 1 less confessional than Camilla and Chrissy, and he has double the amount of confessionals as Tiffany has in this entire frigging season. So yes, I'm a little bit peeved that it took this long.
Even then, have Zac Brown teach them how to spearfish. Do something that's more with the Survivor theme, the show, instead of just highlighting that Zac Brown is an environmentalist, he's a camper, he's good at spearfishing. Like, okay, I get it, he's an outdoorsman, that's awesome. But like, incorporate it to Survivor. It felt like it was just spotlighting Zac Brown instead of spotlighting a fan of the show.
I will say this episode led to one of the most maybe shocking vote-offs we've had so far this season. And so, yeah, I would like that time spent on the episode more on how we got to that vote, or that time spent with Dee and Jonathan's tribe, which outside of a talent show, we saw 0 from. And that tribe in particular, we've seen 0 from all season long. So yes, there's more happening on the beaches and on the island that I would like to see than off of the island with Zac Brown. And again, nothing against Zac Brown. If you're a Zac Brown fan, you've probably already turned us off by now. This is nothing against Zac Brown. This is we have a limited amount of time, a limited amount of space on these airwaves, and I want to see the actual season play out in front of my eyes, because it's been fantastic to watch otherwise. But anything more on Zac Brown before we put him to bed, Bailey?
Nah, I think we've given him enough time.
Yeah, I think so
Both
too.
on and off screen.
I will say I did wear my tightest fitting black t-shirt in honor of Zac Brown for this podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see why I look the way I do. And also, if you're watching on Spotify, congratulations. We just hit a milestone on Spotify. Happy about that. We are on Amazon Music as well. This is the first time you're watching Survivor Square. The last 7 minutes probably wasn't a good prognosticator for what we do on this show. But hey, we had to get our venting done. Either way, give us a like, give us a subscribe, help this channel grow. We do truly appreciate it, guys. Like we've hit some milestones already on YouTube and Spotify. We're very happy about that. And that's because of the fans that continuously watch this show. But now, Bailey, let's break it down tribe by tribe. What happened on Survivor Season 50, Episode 4? And let's start out with the tribe that no one talked about, because out of the talent show and Charlie being really, really funny during that talent show, Sari going, speak louder from the outside, really, really funny stuff. The biggest thing that happened to this tribe is, I would say, the best person in the world to get this, but the worst person if you're playing against him. Rizzo got another idol. And if you saw season 49, then I just happened to rewatch this recently because I was making a recap on my channels. The juggling that this kid did with a singular idol in season 49, some people thought was a little bit annoying, like why aren't they going after him? I see it after watching it again as pure brilliance on most of these, because he played poker in front of these people over and over again and bluffed every single time, and they never called him on it. And now this kid who, again, in real life, he goes to season 50 2 weeks after filming season 49. So he's sitting there as confident as all hell that he can do this again. This man has an idol in his pocket. Bailey, how do you feel about Rizzo getting another one?
I am so excited to see what happens with this idol, because I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked. I would be so impressed. We've talked about him wanting to be on the Mount Rushmore of idols. If he can do this again, he deserves it. He deserves it. I don't think there's a chance in hell that he maneuvers the same way with his idol as he did last season. And solely because the number one reason I will say is because he's playing with people that are not afraid. people that are not afraid of the idols. Last season in 49 is everyone's first season. Of course, people are afraid of idols. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to read this kid. Now we're getting all returning players. I don't think anyone is going to be backed into a corner going, oh no, he has an idol. That it's going to create a target on his back and they're going to go for him. So I think Rizzo has to play this incredibly strategically different. I don't think he can go around running his mouth about his idol. I don't think he can flagrantly flail it around in tribal council like he did last season. I think if he does, he's going to put a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and especially because Charlie is already mortal enemy number one on him. I think any more excuse for him to showboat or parade anything that he has is just going to put a bigger target, and you're going to have someone like Charlie be able to convince people to be on your side to get him out. So I think he has to play this entirely different, but I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to try to do exactly the same thing. What do you think?
The key to Rizzo in 49 and his idol play was he only told the people he thought was in his alliance. And then after a split, Shannon is the one that tells everyone that Rizzo, and Sage may have as well, but either way, the word gets out. So his original tribe, Rizzo is no longer with that original tribe. He is catching this already after a tribe swap. So he may be a little bit more, and he may also learn from 49 that holding that information in might be the way to go. Because if he tells, you look at his tribe, 4 of the players, Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, and Camilla, started on the same tribe together. So if he confides in one of them, supposedly Charlie is his closest, then he can probably figure out that that information is going to leak. If he goes to Sari or Devens, those are 2 really smart and really scary players that Rizzo may feel are already on the bottom. If this tribe were to go to council, those 4 originally, Jonathan, Dee, Charlie, and Camilla, are probably sticking together, and Rizzo can see himself going, hey, I'll join them, we'll get Sari or Devens, and that's the way I'll play this. So I don't know if Rizzo tells anyone that he has the idol. The only one I could maybe consider using as sort of like a lifeline, an olive branch, is a player like Devens, who has been known to use idols before and been known to be an idol master before. So maybe Rizzo, the superfan that he is, goes to Devens and be like, hey man, I have this, let's work together on the best way to use it. But I think Rizzo holds it close. And you brought up Charlie versus Rizzo. We interviewed Survivor winner Mike Gabler on this show earlier this week, and it was a fantastic interview. And he talked about how this Charlie Rizzo thing, he thinks Charlie's going to take over Rizzo. Like, he thinks this was a bad move by Rizzo, opening up about his vote on 49, and he thinks Rizzo's in trouble. I thought Charlie was going to be in trouble for playing too passionately. And now that Rizzo has this idol, Bailey, I still am in the camp that Rizzo's going to beat out Charlie. But what say you? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know, because we haven't gotten enough freaking time with this tribe. I feel like a lot of those inner workings, like, I think you're right. I think if Rizzo can use this somehow to get Rick Devens on his side, if he can schmooze him a little bit to really kind of like almost, idolize, look up to Devens, like kiss his ass a little bit and just say like, help me out. You're the idol guy. Help me with my idols. I don't know anything about idols because none of them know how he played on his season. And I also think this is an opportunity for him to get closer with Sari, because he has mentioned, wanting to be with Sari. Sari obviously has her feelings about him, but I don't know. I'm worried about Rizzo. I really am. I do think he's on the outs of this tribe.
I'm with you. We do need to spend more time with this tribe to figure out what happens, and we shall see. Hopefully we get more time when Zac Brown is not taking out the middle. I'm sorry, that's my last pot shot at Zac Brown. Let's move on to the team that won the Zac Brown reward. And honestly, other than Dee loving Zac Brown, if I had to pick a tribe to win this reward, it's the Colby and Coach tribe, because they were so happy. Chrissy was so happy. They were like smitten that they got to sit and watch Zac Brown. My favorite parts were the cuts to like Aubrey and Tiffany, who you can tell like aren't the hugest Zac Brown fans, but they were sitting there like bobbing their head like a mom at a school choir. Like, it was very cool. And Genevieve sitting there also smitten. There was a lot of fun stuff with that Zac Brown group. I will say, though, we got another scene of Genevieve versus Aubrey, and it was probably the most awkward one yet, where Aubrey has a camera following her. She's looking for an idol, and hears Genevieve call out her name and immediately goes, I can't get a friggin' second alone. And like, Aubrey's pissed. Aubrey is peeved. And then Genevieve talks to camera saying, Aubrey's acting kind of weird. I think I caught her in something. Bailey, this Genevieve Aubrey thing has to come to a head at some point. They're building it up too much.
Oh, they are, but I love it that we're getting the old school just eye rolls when someone turns their back to someone again. Like Aubrey doing that to Genevieve. Those are my favorite moments. We'll get into this, but Christian doing that to Emily, like any of those little moments that are just like these asides of like, oh my God, I'm going to murder this person is like the true, genuine reaction of Survivor that I watch it for. The Genevieve Aubrey thing, I almost want them to lose just because I want it to come to a head already. And the fact that Genevieve immediately finds the idol right after Aubrey's looking for it, I thought was just like, because I don't know why, genuinely. I guess I could sit with it and probably figure out why, but I'm rooting more for Aubrey in this feud. I don't know why innately. I just maybe it's because she's kind of the underdog or on the outs a little bit, and so I'm kind of rooting for her. But I don't know. It's interesting. I can't believe Genevieve has found 2 idols now, so she's gifted them to Ozzy and Rizzo. That's a pretty big move.
If anyone out there is a Genevieve fan, like there are super fans out there that love certain players and are rooting for certain players. If you came into this rooting for Genevieve, you should be livid right now. And it's nothing to do with Aubrey. It's the fact that Kelly Wentworth, Jeremy, Russell, players like Parvati, James from China, Tony from Cagayan, all these greats, Malcolm, Rick Devens, all of these great players that you know from history are made great because they find not one, but 2 idols in a season. They become all powerful, like some Marvel supervillain, adding things to the Infinity Gauntlet because they find 2 immunity idols and can juggle them and use them however they see fit. Genevieve has found 2 immunity idols. She should be the most powerful player in this game. And yet, because of this, again, we talked about how much we liked it, and I still do like the game mechanic, but it's really screwing over Genevieve that she has sent not 1 but 2 idols away from her.
No, 1,000%. I think that's such a valid point that I didn't even really think about. I was just still thinking of like, oh yeah, she found 2 idols. Good for her. Like Genevieve's killing it. And then it's like, oh yeah, but actually she's done the most and you can't do anything with it. You know, and she is doing a smart job, I think, in sending it to what she perceives as targets because of the mechanics of that idol. So it's smart to do 2 different, actually, she probably should have sent it to someone on the same tribe. That would have upped her chances to get it back. Should have sent it to another person on the Vatu tribe. So it was Ozzy and someone else on Vatu. So that would have upped her chances of getting the idol returned to her.
The tribe we can't get enough of, and the tribe you definitely know who is there, is the tribe that goes to tribal council once again. David versus Goliath. David slays Goliath. Let's break down Mike White, Angelina, and Christian versus Ozzy, Stephanie, and Emily. First off, Bales, we come back from camp and Stephanie immediately plays it very well, saying like, I was blindsided. Yeah. Like, you know, sorry, Angelina, I voted for you. Let's make amends. Let's figure it out. And Angelina rightfully assumes, well, this is easy. Next vote is Stephanie. And yet we know how Survivor goes, and the easy vote is rarely the vote. And the fact to me that Stephanie's name never comes up again, and instead Stephanie is automatically assumed as like, let's use her as a number.
Crazy.
I don't know if that's Stephanie play or if that's everyone else like trying to do a next step. Because Stephanie is a really easy vote here, and they kind of all get screwed over because they don't decide to do it.
Yeah, no, I said the exact same thing to someone last night after I was talking to them after the episode, and I was like, I just don't understand where Stephanie's name went. That just seems like the most obvious thing. And I get it. You have to like, I understand it. Mike wanted to save Angelina. I understood why they wanted Angelina. I get it all, but it's like, you guys are getting in your own way almost. Like Stephanie was just the easy choice. You could have still stayed together. Everything would have been good. You know, Emily wouldn't have pissed off Ozzy and Christian wouldn't have pissed off Angelina and Steph wouldn't have pissed off Angela. You know, there's just so many things going on that it's like, it just seemed like Steph was the easy choice. However, and this wasn't shown to us, this is merely only my personal thoughts. During that challenge, it was very apparent that voting Q off was a detriment to them. They could have absolutely used Q in that challenge and they didn't. So I wonder if maybe that was ever a part of the conversation of we can't also get rid of Steph because that's too much strength. Like, what, we're going to keep Angelina and Emily over Steph? That doesn't make any sense when we're talking about actual just athleticism and how they perform in the challenges.
Bailey, I agree that they kept Stephanie for the strength, but if that's the case, they settled on arguably the strongest guy in their group, suddenly 8-pack abbed Mike White. I do agree Stephanie was the easier vote. They went away from it fast, but I do think this kind of showcased Ozzy's next level of gameplay in this season, because he came out and immediately wanted Angelina gone, not because to break the DVG up or Angelina's a weak player or she's not a provider. Maybe those were some of the reasons. But the reason we got in camera during confessional is that Ozzy wanted to get Angelina out so he could replace Angelina as Mike White's tag team partner. And Ozzy has never thought that way in any Survivor season he has ever played. To use his current alliance member, Emily, to get closer to Mike White. If this is the Ozzy we're getting, Bailey, I wish we got this Ozzy 4 seasons of Ozzy ago. But this is fantastic. It made me really happy to see it.
I'm glad you were happy about it because I was confused by it, if I'm being honest. I was just like, why Mike? Like, why was Ozzy so set on being Mike's number one to the point that he's willing to blow up his game to get Angelina out so he can slip in and be like, I love Mike. I want Mike as my partner and I have to protect Mike and I want Mike. Like, and I hate that my brain goes here and I hate to be the one to say it, but it's like what Christian said of like, okay, Ozzy's gunning for his cameo in White Lotus. Like, why is he trying so hard to be so buddy-buddy with Mike?
They have a past friendship. They talked about that in the beginning, how like they have a friendship off the island. So like, and I also understand Ozzy pairing with Suri earlier because he wants a strategic mind. Mike is thought of as a strategic mind in this game. And also, Bales, if we're getting to the end game portion of it all, Mike White's never winning Survivor Season 50. Like he's just, and Mike White says it in his confessionals, Angelina's never winning Survivor Season 50, which I disagree with, but they don't appreciate her game at all. And so Ozzy could sit there going like, how am I going to win? I need to sit next to some people. Mike White could be one of those people. So I understand what you're saying, but I do think Ozzy's tried to think this out in some capacity.
Well, for sure. And I do think, I think it was very apparent watching the way that Mike did kind of handle this and manipulate it. And again, props to Christian for kind of it almost working. And then Christian going, whoa, hold on. That was master manipulation that he just got me to really consider changing my entire view and my gameplay on this because he preyed on me by going, the way that you're treating Emily is the way you were treating Gabby and she screwed you over. Do you really want that to happen again? That would be really embarrassing for you. And for Christian to really take that and be like, damn, like, ow, to start crying, to get emotional of it. He said, this is the first time he's cried about it. It was 7 years ago. He's crying about it. So clearly, Mike did do something very strategical, almost maniacal, if you will, by preying on his emotions like that. So I do think you're right. I mean, Mike is an incredibly strategic, smart player. He understands the human condition. He understands how to psychoanalyze. Like, that's why he's such a brilliant writer. Like, he understands how to get to people. So I do think it was a smart decision to get Mike out because it did separate the David versus Goliath. He is a very smart player, but also dumb because, like you said, Mike's never going to win. So he's a very easy person to just try to drag along with you, use as a now meat shield with his 6-pack. Hey, filet mignon.
Christian coming after Mike in that way. First off, Emily is not Gabby. Gabby is not Emily. Also, I will say in real life, Christian posted that he was with Gabby last night. Gabby has, I think, a child, and they were posting together. So, like, they're all good. They are friends. Everything is cool between Christian and Gabby. And Christian made a point to show that, knowing that this episode was going to be this episode. Christian realizing what Mike was doing to him and then coming after Mike instead was a genius move to get Mike out. I don't know if it was a genius move to keep Christian in, because I do think eventually the David versus Goliath tribe was going to get picked at. I don't think them picking at each other was the way to go, because those three could have voted together for the rest of eternity. And that could have been much more powerful as the game went along. So I don't trust Emily as far as I can throw her. I think Emily Flippen, and I want to say this perfectly clearly, I think Emily Flippen sucks at Survivor. I understand she made it far in her season. I understand she's making it far now. I understand Mike White calls her a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think she's a moron in sheep's clothing. The fact that she keeps on flipping on these alliances, and I understand her going like, well, Christian told me about Aubrey's idol, didn't tell me in time. I got mad, so I told everyone about Aubrey's idol, and then I apologized to Christian. Everyone can make that mistake. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Because then when she goes, we can't tell Ozzy about this vote. And the first effing thing she does, Bailey, is say, hey, Ozzy, this is what's going on. And Christian, very funny, is behind Ozzy going, you just... That was very funny, very cute, very funny. But Emily's an idiot. Emily's an absolute moron. And for Christian to see that and say, okay, now I have two roads diverging here. Do I go with Emily on my side or do I get out the wild card? 100% you need to get out the wild card. It makes sense for Christian to say, hey, I got Mike. That's a head on my mantle. That's going to be if I get to the end, that's something I can point out on my resume. I was the one who orchestrated that. At the same time, Emily Flippen will be the downfall of your game, and you just allowed one of your votes that was in your pocket to leave you. So yeah, I think Christian made a very smart move to get Mike out, except for the fact in the long game it's going to screw him over. Because again, I would never play with Emily. I think she's an absolute idiot.
No, she's just an agent of chaos. And I love the way you said it because I couldn't agree more of like, okay, we all make mistakes and I get it. It's early on and I understand the word vomit. But like, did you not learn in that moment? Did Christian forgive you too quickly? Like, did you not learn in that moment that your alliances matter and that the information they're telling you matters? And so when he just says, don't go to Ozzy, and the first thing you fucking do when Ozzy walks up, first thing when he walks up is just, Ozzy, this is happening. It's just idiotic. It really is idiotic. And the only thing that maybe is the reason Christian is protecting Emily so hard is because of his initial alliance with Rick Devens. Because I know they were all working together when they were on that original tribe, and Christian was like, oh my God, Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, like that's my yin to my yang, like that's my boy. So maybe that's the only reason he's not flipping on Emily now, is because he's hoping that will keep his alliance with Rick Devens stronger when hopefully they get to the merge. But that's really a lot of what ifs down the line. Like, Christian needs to learn from this, and it's almost like you're enabling bad behavior at this point. Like, if you do it again, Christian, if you tell Emily another piece of secret information again, now at this point I'm going to look at you as bad gameplay, because she clearly can't be trusted. You have to stop trusting her with information. You just have to.
And instead, Emily, Stephanie, and Ozzy move forward, as do Christian and Angelina, with Angelina and Ozzy feeling blindsided by what happened. And we kind of now realize why Angelina was so mad at Christian in the press before season 50, because it appears Christian has not only eliminated Mike White, but ruined Angelina's game as well. Bailey, who is going to get eliminated next episode? I did not see the coming next week portion of Survivor, so I don't know if there's another tribe swap or something, because we still have now 7, 7, and 5. So we are going to have a little bit odd numbers in these three tribes. Put it together though, Bales, we're at 19 people, right? 14 plus 5 is 19 people. So it's still more people than Survivor usually starts with. So I have no idea what they're going to plan on doing. However, who do you think gets eliminated? My pick is I think this tribe loses again. And I think they turn on Christian, because if they're starting to get threats out, they think Mike White is a threat to win this game. He's too strong. He's too socially connected. Who's more socially connected and smart and strategic than Christian? If you don't think Angelina's a threat, you don't think Stephanie's a threat, Emily will do whatever she wants to advance. And she seems to be closer with Ozzy than with Christian. It's really quick for Angelina to come back home and be like, I can't believe you did that, and turn on Christian. Ozzy already feels left out by Christian. The last thing they say to each other is Christian going, I'll fill you in. And Ozzy goes, you already have. I think Christian's in trouble. I truly believe him voting out Mike White ruined his game. And I think Christian is the next person to go home.
I think so fully. Well, I also think like Emily is going to pick Ozzy's side over Christian. We've seen how infatuated she is with Ozzy. So when Ozzy comes back to camp and he's going to be furious at Christian, I think it's going to be very easy for Emily to flip over to his side, pull in Steph. Angelina's mad at him. I think that's a very good guess. And maybe why we've seen so much of Christian highlighted so early on. Maybe they're really letting us get all this entertainment value before they kick him off. I think that's probably a very good call. I also agree that tribe is probably going to lose, but let me jump ship and do a little something different, just because to not hate on poor Vatu over and over again. But I'm going to go with Genevieve. I think there's a possibility that Kahlo loses. I think Genevieve has started a lot. I think Tiff and Aubrey are close. I think they possibly could get Aubrey to stay, and Aubrey also has an idol. So I think maybe, well, let's just hop on Genevieve. And I also will just say, we are getting a double elimination next week, so there's a possibility we see both of these people go.
That is it for Survivor Season 50, breaking it down. We wouldn't have had a double elimination if Zac Brown didn't take 15 minutes of this episode. But join us next week when we talk about whatever comes next. We will have guests coming on the show, as we all have. And again, thank you for the growth that we've had on this show. We've really enjoyed it. If you like this show, give us a like, give us a subscribe, send it to a Survivor fan, send it to a friend, help us grow, and we are enjoying the run. And if you happen to be heading to Costa Mesa for the episode 5 watch along that Shaheen is throwing, you may see 2 familiar faces there. But until then, enjoy the show.